Good morning, garden loves. So we're back with the garden vlog this morning, and I got my lovely big basket of seeds which I'm going to work my way through and get sowing. This morning focusing on peppers, which will go in the orangery, sweet corn, cosmos, beautiful seashells mix, lovely. I'm going to get some tomatoes in as well, which will stay in the greenhouse. Yesterday, as you saw, I did my sweet peas and broad beans, which are in there, and we had a good clear out in the greenhouse. So I need to rearrange some of the staging, but for the moment I'll probably just use over here. That's all the space I'm going to need, I think, for today. So tomatoes, cosmos, peppers for the orangery, sweet corn in here, and then I'll just see what else I've got that I fancy doing. I might do my dwarf, these ones actually, show you. I grew these last year. I actually got the seed last year for 50p, which was amazing. It was on offer in the range. So after seed season, go to the range because I normally have a really good seed sale on. Just a little bit of a tip there for you. Anyway, this one, Purple Queen, fantastic. A really good cropper. Likes to have well-drained soil, with most veg is the same. Nice and short, so it doesn't need huge canes. Really good if you've just got a container garden maybe. But the bounty of crop was fantastic last year. I mean, the warm weather obviously helped. They do like the warmer weather. Really good. The only thing I would say is we tried many different ways: boiling, steaming, stir frying. Unfortunately, the colour of the bean doesn't stay as soon as you cook it, so it just looks really pretty on the stem. So it adds a little bit of a nice visual to your kitchen garden, which is fine. But when you go to eat them, they actually go back to the green colour. The purple sort of comes out of the skin, but that's fine. It looks pretty on the stem, so, but it's such a good cropper, and the flavour is really nice as well. So I'll probably put some of those in today too, and I'm going to do some peas as well. And then if I get a chance, I'm going to start weeding my, I don't know if you can see, oh, my garlic's looking good out there at the moment. We're having loads of building work done, so the garden is a complete utter mess in areas. I'm going to weed some of the section of my veg plot today, the kitchen garden, so that I can direct sow some rocket and spinach and some radish, maybe some spring onions as well, if I get a chance to do that today. If not, I'm just clearing the space today and then I'll sow tomorrow. But that's my plans, and I'll just keep you updated as I go through. Right, let's start sowing these seeds, shall we? Let's go. So I'm happily merrily seeding away, as you've seen. This tray, I've got a few odds and ends of seed packets, some lettuce which I've got loads of seed of, but I just want to do a few cells indoors. I can direct sow now because we're in, well, the last weekend of April, but I do like to get lettuce started in little cell packs really first, and then direct sow a little bit later in May, just in case with the weather and everything so unpredictable. So I'm actually going to use this tray and split it up into sections of 2 3s and a 2, because I've got some nasturtium but only a few seeds, and they really don't care where they're sown, they'll just pop up. And I've got some lettuce, salad bowl red, and some cos lettuce. So I just wanted to not sow loads of them, and I like to direct sow the lettuce because it just saves a lot of pricking out actually. So I'll probably put 2 seed-ish, 2 to 3 seed per cell, so it's not too fiddly to do, but it saves a lot of pricking out, and they'll be ready in little plugs to go in the next few weeks. And I only want a few to start off with, because if you sow too many at once, personally we don't get through it quick enough, particularly things like lettuce and salad crops like spring onions and radish. So I like to do little and very often. So I'm going to do that in this cell tray now and do 3 sets. So if you see me doing 3 random sets of seeds, you'll now know why, and then we'll label them up as we go along, and it'll be left to right, which is a nursery practice. Always label left to right, whichever way you're looking at the seed tray, and then you know where you are in terms of which is which and what is what. So I shall crack on and use this seed tray for those 3 different varieties, which will all grow and germinate happily together in the same tray. So as well as seed sowing, I'm also going to plant out, well, I'm not planting out actually, I'm potting on my sweet peas. I'm not putting them out yet. The veg patch where they're going and the little archway by the veg patch is not ready, but they are struggling. It's been too hot in the orangery lately, as you can see I've lost a couple, and they're getting a bit smudgedy in here. So I'm going to pot them on into bigger pots just to get them really quite well established before I put them outside. They need to be bigger the better for our garden because of the pigeons that we have, and they literally sit in the tree. Again, the cue's the mess. They sit in that tree up there, which is where basically these are going to go underneath. So yeah, so I'm going to pop those on, and what I'm going to use is my Rocket Grow. Thank you very much, Rocket Grow, for sending this me, a gifted ad. This is actually their container and basket potting compost, but because I'm potting on my sweet peas into the well, quite a nice size chunky pot to make them a bit more established before they go out, I'm going to use this. And I'm also going to do the same with my cobia, because it's just starting to get a bit worn out from being in these tiny plug cells. So this cobia, it's a mixed cobia, so I've got purpley pinky whites to enjoy hopefully for the summer, which will go up the pergola whilst we're waiting for the wisteria and everything to establish. So yeah, so I'm going to pop these on as well in the same compost. This, by the way, is my little drainage system. So this is an old mushroom container, punnet even, from the supermarket that I've upcycled, and then these are planting containers that had violas and things in that I use for my business to pot containers and stuff up with. So I kept them, they are made of recycled plastic, and then I'm upcycling them again to do my seedlings in this year. So I'm going to pop those on in just a sec. Also just show you what I've been up to so far. That was last night, last vlog, and I've done some cucumbers. These I found had self-seeded in one of the old well, one of the older seed trays they must have been from last year. I've just pulled it out to pot it, well, plant up other things in it, and I found these 2. So I've just potted those on in my little tin here. I think it's spring onion. It is a spring onion, sorry, I don't think it is, but I think it's that red. It's got that lovely red tinge, so that's exciting. Anyway, 2 bonus plants didn't know we were going to get. What have I put in here? So I've only just done this and I can't remember. Cosmos and cucumbers. So yeah, that's all good for there. That's going to have the lid on it later. Anyway, so I digress. I'm going to pop these on, and then put them in the basket and container compost from Rocket Grow. So here are the results of my potting on. The cobia actually look really good now, to be fair. I may have to use some, I'm afraid, slug pellets, but they are the more friendly version, if there is such a thing. They're more of a barrier pellet than a killing pellet, so I'm going to use some of those because I've run out of eggshells at the moment. I do not want these to get nibbled away, so I'm going to use that slug barrier for these. I won't cover them up and just hope that they're too big for the mice to be interested in. And then my sweet peas, which I've planted in these pots and just spaced them out a bit rather than completely prick them out, because they'll just go in as they are in these pots, and I'll train them up the canes and the the arbor that they're going up and over. And then I'll just cover those with an old plastic box to keep the mice and the slugs away. And again, I'll be using a slug barrier rather than eggshells on these because I've run out of eggs. I need to eat some eggs over the weekend, but it's just a barrier to keep them away. There's some smaller cobias there which I haven't put on canes, so they're going to go under the box as well, because when they're younger they're more susceptible to be nibbled and picked on. But yeah, I'm really happy with these, looking good, nice and big. I might pinch the tops out of a couple of them just to thicken them up a bit before they go too mad. Give everything a water, and then I think we're done for the day. So that's that. Oh, I've got seeds in here that I just need to move around, and we've got seeds up here. So we've done zinnia, we've done tomatoes, we've done peppers, we've done, oh, these chili peppers, they're going to go in the orangery just in case it's a little bit warmer, because they just don't do well down here unless it's really late in the season. What else have we planted today? Cosmos, 2 types of cosmos, cucumber, and then last night we did the next batch of sweet peas and broad beans. So yeah, so I'm really happy. Oh, sweet corn as well, we did sweet corn. So a good afternoon had by all. So there we go. I'm going to leave the tops on, clear everything up, clear my little mess up over here, and get everything covered up. There we go, that's that for today, seeding and sowing. So this is the other job for this bank holiday weekend. I've got some dahlias to pot up, and I've got lots of peonies. I bought these a couple of weeks ago from Morrison's. Look how cheap they are. So, you know, worst case, if it doesn't come to anything, haven't lost loads of money. But I'm hoping, having bought 2 of each of the peonies, Sarah Bernhardt, Pink Hawaiian Coral, which I'm very excited about, and then Shirley Temple, a good old classic double, which is, oh, just look at that, gorgeous, beautiful. So I'm looking forward to pop those in today. I'm going to find some nice places for them, hopefully. Get the dahlias potted on first. I like to pot my dahlias even though we're a little bit later now, just to get them going before putting them in the ground. And I had this one last year from Morrison's, Florell, stunning. I'll put a little photo or a little video in from last year, because they were non-stop bloomers all the way through to the very first, well, even the hard frost, not the first little frost. They were brilliant. So I'm going to pop those in today. And I've just watered my seedlings that I did yesterday, my seeds that I did yesterday. So let's find some nice homes for these beauties. I can't wait for that one, that's beautiful. I'm not expecting these to flower today, obviously, I'm not expecting these to flower this year, but just to get them in this year and growing, and then hopefully we'll see first blooms on them next year, probably the year after for proper ones though. They need to settle in as bare roots, which is what I've bought them as, bare roots that look like nothing and very boring at the moment, but hopefully in a year or 2 they'll look fantastic. So my first one I'm going to pop next to my little pond. I put magnolia in last year, eventually that will get quite big, next to my ornamental wheelbarrow, which is looking great with tulips. So I thought I'm going to put the whiter peony, Shirley Temple, just in front of the magnolia, because once that gets going that'll be a nice little step down from there. And then I've just remembered I've got a few of these actually I picked up last year that were literally dying off quite badly. There were just little bits and bobs in the pot. I bought them cheap from Morrison's. They are Euchorella Ruby Bells, which is my favourite one. So you can see the little shoots coming here, bright red, flower spikes that come up in the next few weeks. They look stunning. I thought eventually those would look really nice together, so next year or the year after when that starts flowering, if I do them in a cluster of 3, so the magnolia there, peony just in front, and then if I get my little ruby bells there, plenty of space around it, that will create a nice little triangle of colour from spring onwards. And then what I'll do is interplant like I have already. I've got alliums this year here, so I'll put a few more in for next year, and then maybe get a couple of perennials, summer-flowering perennials, to put just behind the peony, and maybe one just here in front, so that I get a continuation of colour from spring all the way through into summer and autumn. But for now I'm going to put this peony in and the eucharella, and that's just building this border up nicely. So I'm doing this bit by bit when I've got plants ready, when I see bargains. I'm doing it on a budget. So yeah, it's just nice to build it, and when you start finding things to fill gaps, and it will start coming together in the next couple of years, even more so than it does now, it'll look really good. But let's have a little focus on these gorgeous tulips, parrot tulips that are coming. They're meant to be red, but we'll see. Oh, that's just my water feature starting up because the sun's out. I need to top that up today and give it a clean. Anyway, these are going to look really good in the next week or so. So I know this is odd because this is part of the same vlog from the other day with 3 days in, but the cosmos are already coming up 3 days after I've sown them. That's why I'm putting it on this vlog right now. That's amazing. Cosmos seashells. I'm just checking on my other seedlings as well. But yeah, these ones are really, that's so exciting. See, told you they'd catch up even though I'm late sowing. Excellent.